Welcome. Please stay tuned to the end as I share with you these 5 simple and actionable habits that changed my life. Self-awareness, emotional regulation, the power of empathy, building connections that last, and motivation, active hope. Habit number 1, self-awareness. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop? Like you're living someone else's life? Every day blends into the next, and no matter how hard you try, you can't shake this feeling of being lost. What if I told you the way out isn't out there? It's within you, hidden in your enormous memory bank. Your attributes, your skills, your experiences, your knowledge and your experience that you have accumulated in your lifetime. I'll share with you how I found my way out by mastering 5 crucial habits that greatly changed my life, and how you can too. In today's video, I will also share simple but mind-shifting tips that were a game changer for me. Habit 1, self-awareness. This is the first habit to master. I was living on autopilot. Waking up, going to work, coming home, watching TV and scrolling my phone until I fell asleep. I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't truly happy either. I was merely coasting. I told myself, this is just life. But one night I couldn't ignore the question anymore. Is this it? That night everything hit me at once. The frustration, the emptiness, the guilt of not feeling grateful for what I had. And in the middle of it all, one thought echoed louder than the rest. Who am I really? And what is my purpose here? That was the moment my journey to self-awareness began, by asking myself the hard questions. Is this it? You see, when we lack self-awareness, life controls us instead of the other way around. We chase goals that aren't ours. We hurt the people we love without understanding why. We feel stuck because we are living a script someone else wrote for us, and quite often we don't even know who wrote the script for us. I'll never forget the day I lashed out at a friend for canceling plans. I didn't even bother to ask why or listen to him. I told myself they didn't value me, but the truth? I was scared of being alone. That fear had been driving me for years, and I never even noticed it. And I'm not alone. Studies show that only 10 to 15% of people are truly self-aware. Most of us are walking through life blind to what really drives our feelings and actions. The night I asked the hard questions, I grabbed an old notebook and started writing. At first it felt awkward, like trying to talk to a stranger. But then I wrote down 3 questions that changed everything. 1, what am I feeling? 2, why am I feeling this way? 3, what am I afraid to admit to myself? I started to write answers down. I decided that I would just write whatever came to my mind. Without censorship, I just let my pen write whatever came to my head. I later realized that I had stumbled into the powerful tool of journaling. Journaling is a great self-awareness tool to keep you grounded, and also to give you a reference point to check your progress by revisiting your notes. It wasn't easy. Sometimes the answers were painful. Other times the answers did not make sense to me. But over time, patterns started to emerge. I realized I wasn't frustrated at work. I was frustrated because I wasn't pursuing what I loved. I wasn't scared of failure. I was scared of being seen as a failure, like Sarah, who through journaling realized her constant anger at her kids was really about her unresolved guilt from her own childhood. Or James, who discovered he was chasing promotions not because he wanted them, but because he was scared of being seen as a failure. Self-awareness doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you finally understand why you feel, think, and act the way you do. You stop blaming others and start taking control. You align your life with your values. And suddenly you're not just surviving, you're truly living. By embracing these 5 habits: 1. Catching yourself in the act. 2. Getting to know the pitfalls of not being self-aware. 3. Asking the hard questions. 4. Practicing the 3 tips: reflect, seek feedback, and pause. And 5. Enjoying the freedom you get from being self-aware. And by practicing each habit over and over, small bit at a time, regardless of failures, you are set for endless personal growth. Credit belongs to you. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Self-awareness is how you take the wheel. If you've ever felt lost, take this as your sign. Start small, reflect, ask, pause. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And if this video helped you, share it with someone who might need it too. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Let's keep growing together. We've all had those days. The ones where everything feels like it's spiraling out of control. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, and you wonder, why can't I handle this better? But what if you could? What if instead of feeling overwhelmed, you could face life's chaos with clarity and calm? Here are the 5 steps that helped me master emotional regulation, and how this transformed my life, and how it can transform yours too. There was a time when I couldn't keep it together. Every little thing, an email, a criticism, even traffic would set me off. I thought I was just bad at stress. But then came the day. By the time I got home, I was emotionally fried, and then I lashed out at the one person who didn't deserve it. Their hurt expression still haunts me. That was my rock bottom. I knew I needed to change, not for others, but for myself. I was tired of being a prisoner to my own emotions. What I didn't realize then was how much my lack of control was costing me. Studies show that unmanaged emotions can ruin relationships, derail careers, and even harm your health. The stakes were higher than I ever imagined. But here's the good news. Emotional regulation isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them. And anyone can learn it, even me. Here's what I learned. Your emotions aren't the enemy. They're signals triggered by your brain's limbic system, a survival tool that can't always tell the difference between a real threat and a small inconvenience. Stress of any sort triggers the production of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and so forth. And this may compromise our ability to feel, think clearly, and be effective in our personal and interpersonal functioning. But there's a way to hack this system. Emotional regulation is like building a muscle. It takes practice, but it can be done. And when you learn it, you unlock a kind of inner peace that's unshakable. A few months later, chaos came knocking again. But this time I was ready. Instead of reacting, I paused, took a deep breath, practiced self-awareness tools that I had already been using, and asked myself one question: what's the next best step? That day, I realized something profound. I didn't need the world to change. I just needed to change how I responded to it. Here's how you can take control of your emotions starting today. These 5 tools changed my life. They can change yours too. Pause before reacting. When emotions hit, stop. Just 5 seconds of stillness can shift everything. Name your emotions. Label what you're feeling. Anger, sadness, frustration. Naming it takes away its power. Reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what's this teaching me? Challenges become opportunities when you change your perspective. Gratitude as a reset button. Find one thing to appreciate, even in chaos. Gratitude rewires your brain for resilience. Start a gratitude journal. Breathe with purpose. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and repeat. It's simple, but incredibly grounding. Start mindfulness practice. Focus on emotional greetings. Learn from wolves, which after almost tearing each other to pieces in the scramble for food, start playing with one another, licking blood from each other, running around to re-establish the emotional bond that was almost severed as they fought for food and hierarchy. You can designate the first 30 minutes when you first arrive home from foraging for food or knowledge as time for emotional greetings. This is when you greet one another, make small talk, talk rubbish talk. No heavies or problem solving. These heavies can be dealt with later by timed and specific appointments. These aren't just techniques, they're lifelines. They've helped me rebuild relationships, regain confidence, and find peace in the messiest moments. Life will never stop throwing challenges your way, but emotional regulation gives you the power to rise above them. So start small, pause, breathe, reflect, and watch as your world begins to shift, one calm moment at a time. Have you ever felt invisible, like no one truly understands you? That ache of being unseen can leave us disconnected, even from those we love the most. But here's the truth. Connection isn't about being understood. It's about understanding others. Today, I will share with you the 3 steps to master empathy. And I'll explore how empathy can rebuild bridges, deepen relationships, and unlock a life of meaningful connection. By the end of this video, you'll see empathy not as a soft skill, but as a life-changing superpower. I used to think connection was about what I said, choosing the right words, sharing impressive stories. But no matter how hard I tried, I always felt on the outside. Relationships felt fragile, conversations were awkward, and deep down I was lonely. I was desperate to belong, but I didn't see the real issue. I was so focused on being heard that I failed to listen. It wasn't until a turning point, one I'll never forget, that everything began to change. Why are you being so distant? What did I do wrong? Friend, it's not about you. You never listen. You only care about your own problems. That day I lost my best friend and the illusion that I was a good listener. For the first time I had to confront a harsh truth. I wasn't misunderstood. I was misunderstanding everyone else. The first time I tried to truly listen, it felt unnatural. I wanted to interrupt, to give advice, but instead I made myself sit still and just be there. It was hard, very hard at first, but then something incredible happened. My coworker looked up and said, "Thanks for letting me vent. I feel so much better." I didn't solve their problem, but for the first time I truly connected. I called it the empathy experiment, and the results were extraordinary. People began to open up, trust me, and lean on me. For the first time, I saw relationships transform, and I began to transform too. Empathy isn't just emotional, it's biological. Our brains are equipped with mirror neurons, which allow us to feel what others feel. But empathy isn't automatic. It's a skill you cultivate. And when you do, the rewards are remarkable. Studies show that empathetic leaders are 40% more effective. But it's not just about success. Empathy deepens trust, strengthens bonds, and shifts how people see you. It's not weakness. It's your greatest strength. Tip 1. Listen without interrupting. The next time someone speaks, resist the urge to respond. Just focus on understanding their words and emotions. It's harder than it sounds, but incredibly powerful. Tip 2. Reflect what you hear. Say things like, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated." This small act validates someone's emotions and shows you care. Tip 3. Ask questions, don't give opinions. Instead of jumping in with solutions, ask, "What do you think would help?" Or, "How can I support you?" Questions build trust and allow deeper connection. These steps aren't just techniques. They're tools to build bridges and repair even the most fractured relationships. Empathy doesn't just change your relationships, it changes your life. When you truly see and feel with someone, you unlock a deeper understanding of the world and yourself. Start small, listen, reflect, ask, and watch the ripple effects of empathy transform everything. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Together, let's spread the power of empathy. Ever felt invisible in a crowd? Like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to connect with people? Let me tell you, I've been there. For years, I thought social skills were something you're either born with or you're not. But then one life-changing moment taught me the truth. And it's a lesson that can transform your relationships, your career, and even your happiness. Let's talk about the art of winning people over. I remember this one networking event vividly. Everyone seemed to know exactly what to say, how to laugh at just the right moments, how to belong, and there I was, trying too hard, overthinking every word, and leaving with nothing but awkward memories. That night, I stared at the ceiling, asking myself, why is connecting with people so hard? What I didn't understand back then is this: social skills aren't about being perfect or charismatic. They're about being real. And it all starts with understanding what truly makes people tick. The secret to winning people over isn't a slick one-liner or a rehearsed pitch. It's this: people don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. At its core, social skills are about connection, and connection starts with empathy. The first thing I learned was to focus on them, not me. Whether it's a stranger, a colleague, or a loved one, the question shouldn't be, well, what do I say, but rather, how can I make them feel seen, heard, and valued? Pillar 1, genuine curiosity. People love talking about themselves, if you let them. Ask open-ended questions like, what's been exciting for you lately? Or what's your story? But here's the catch: really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Pillar 2, mirror, don't mimic. Building rapport isn't about copying someone's every move. It's about matching their energy. If they're excited, share their enthusiasm. If they're calm and reflective, meet them there. Mirroring shows you're in sync without words. Pillar 3, add value. Every interaction should leave the other person feeling better than before. Whether it's a compliment, a helpful insight, or even just a smile. Ask yourself, what can I give in this moment? Connection thrives on generosity. Did you know that people with strong social skills are 40% more likely to succeed in their careers? Studies also show that meaningful connections can reduce stress, boost immunity, and even increase lifespan. Social skills aren't just nice to have, they're life-changing. But it's not about impressing everyone or being the life of the party. True connection is about quality, not quantity. Once I stopped trying to be interesting and focused on being interested, everything changed. I didn't just win people over. I built relationships that made my life richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Rachel says mastering social skills saved her career. Mark rebuilt his strained family relationships. For me, it turned isolation into belonging. Here's the truth: social skills are a learnable art, not a gift you're born with. Start with small steps, listen more, ask thoughtful questions, and focus on making others feel valued. And remember, the best connections happen when you show up as your authentic self. If this video inspired you, share it with someone who might need it. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on mastering emotional intelligence. Together, let's create a world where connection comes naturally. We've all hit that wall before. Not just on a track, but in life. That moment when your energy runs out and the doubts creep in. The question is, why do some push through while others stop? Today, I will reveal exactly how you can unlock unstoppable motivation, no matter how stuck you feel. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have 5 tools to transform your drive instantly. There was a time when I thought motivation was my superpower. I was always on, the early riser, the overachiever. But then, out of nowhere, it all stopped. I remember sitting at my desk one morning, staring at an endless to-do list, unable to move. I kept refreshing my emails, scrolling social media, comparing my life to others who seemed to have it all figured out. And all I could think was, why can't I just do it? It felt like failure wasn't just a possibility, it was my identity. But what I didn't realize then is that this low was the start of something transformative. Here's the hard truth no one tells you. Motivation is a myth. It's not this magical feeling that sweeps in and makes you unstoppable. And chasing it, that's like waiting for lightning to strike twice. If you've been waiting for motivation to just show up, stop. That's not how it works. Here's the game-changing insight that flipped my life upside down. Motivation is a byproduct of action, not the other way around. The secret is to act first, even when you don't feel like it. It is like hope. Merely hoping for something to happen won't make it happen. You need to turn it into action. Active hope for your hope to be ignited and realized. Take a moment now. What's one small thing you've been putting off? Commit to just starting it today, no matter how small. A marathon runner starts with a single step. Let's talk science for a second. Motivation is all about dopamine, the feel-good hormone, the brain's reward system. But here's a kicker. Dopamine gets released after you act, not before. That's why waiting to feel motivated is a trap. The good news? You can hack your brain's chemistry. Start with a small achievable action and your brain will reward you. Each little step gives you momentum, which creates more motivation. I'll admit at first it felt silly. I'd tell myself, just write one word. But that one word led to a sentence, then a paragraph, and eventually progress. And every time my brain rewarded me with that little hit of dopamine. What's your one small step? Choose it now. Write it down. Start with something so easy, it feels impossible to fail. I'll never forget the day I faced my biggest challenge. It was a presentation that could make or break my career. Due in 48 hours. I was paralyzed with fear. But then I told myself, just open the file. That's it. No pressure to finish or be perfect. Just start. And you know what? That tiny action broke the cycle. Before I knew it, I was in the zone, working with a focus I hadn't felt in months. Here's how you can take control of your motivation starting today. These 5 tools changed my life. They can change yours too. Start small. Break tasks into tiny, manageable steps. Each small win builds momentum. Celebrate progress. Reward yourself for every milestone, no matter how small. Positive reinforcement fuels motivation. Visualize success. Picture yourself achieving your goal. Visualization creates a mental roadmap to success. Stay accountable. Share your goals with someone you trust. Accountability keeps you on track. Embrace failure. See setbacks as learning opportunities. Failure is a stepping stone to success. These aren't just techniques, they're lifelines. They've helped me rebuild relationships, regain confidence, and find peace in the messiest moments. Life will never stop throwing challenges your way, but motivation gives you the power to rise above them. So, start small. Act, celebrate, visualize, stay accountable, embrace failure, and watch as your world begins to shift, one motivated moment at a time.